I'm gonna tell you about one experience I had where the guest was super mad at me because something was missing from the Airbnb and how I handled it without even going to the property. And then after that, we're gonna talk all about reviews. What do you do when you get a negative review? Stay tuned, you won't wanna miss this. Managing short-term rentals can be a dream come true until it's not. Hey there, it's Brendan Klaus, your favorite Seattle area realtor, and today we're going to talk all about how to manage some of those short-term rental guests that happen to the best of us. Having short-term rentals, as I have experienced, can be really rewarding and it can be really great, but there are a lot of times where you have really difficult guests as well and some difficult things to go through. So whether it's noise complaints, property damage, or miscommunication, it can really tear up your time and your reputation. So today I'm gonna talk through a few strategies to handling these situations like a pro to keep your reputation protected and stay in control. Let's dive in. Number one, let's talk about preparing for success. So they say that preventing issues before they start is the best cure. So here's a couple things. Tip number one, you need to have all of the expectations and rules outlined in your listing description, your house rules, and even your welcome book before guests are actually getting into the property or as they're entering the property. Everything from quiet hours, maximum occupancy in the home, your pet policies, and anything else that's important. Having these spelled out beforehand is gonna help save you a lot because you can just reference those for the guests if they do break those rules or if they go against the rules. Having those firmly in place before check-in can go a long way in terms of avoiding misunderstandings. And even if you think these things are obvious, repeating them multiple times, putting them in multiple different spots is going to be essential for you when you're thinking about making sure you set those expectations with your guests. Now, number two is to screen your guests. Yes, Airbnb tries to screen your guests, but it's really important that you still take that extra step and do the due diligence to look at their past reviews from other hosts. Look at what other people are saying, and if they have a history of causing problems, feel free to decline that guest. You don't have to accept everyone who wants to stay at your property because you're ultimately in charge of this and you're gonna be the one who has to deal with it. And lastly, have a plan for emergencies. So it's great to have your handy person on call, a plumber, maybe a locksmith if you don't have a keypad lock, and you may wanna have your cleaner on call as well. These are all really important people who can help you, especially if you can't be the one to get to the property right away. Handling noise complaints. Noise complaints are one of the most common issues that STR hosts deal with, especially if you're in an urban area or more dense area, or if you're in something like an apartment building. Here's how to handle it. First, make sure to stay calm and act quickly. If a neighbor complains, you need to apologize to that neighbor and let them know that you're going to handle it right away. Typically, if you contact your guests through the app and just give them a firm but clear message like, hey, guest name, I received feedback about the noise levels. Please lower the volume to respect the neighborhood quiet hours. You'll usually do the trick with that. There is another way, which is a proactive solution. You can get devices that you keep in the home that actually monitor noise levels and notify you if the noise gets above a certain level without actually recording the audio. This is something that I would disclose to your guests before they even book that this is in the home, and you'll know if they're actually increasing the noise above a level that is going to result in you getting like a ping from that device to tell you that the noise is too loud. Let them know that you have that device in the house and let them know that if it does get too loud, you'll be reaching out and you'll have to take action if that's the case. Dealing with property damage. Now, let's talk about the dreaded property damage. I totally get it, and the first few times I hosted people who didn't leave my Airbnb the way that I would have left it, it really upset me, honestly, and it can feel really personal. But staying professional is really the key here. Start by documenting the damage. You want to take photos and videos of the damage that you find, and if it's not you doing that, make sure your cleaner knows to look for that damage and take those photos and videos and send them to you. Your cleaner is going to be the person that you really rely on to do this if you're not the one flipping the home every time you have a new guest. This evidence is critical so that you can file a claim through the platform that the guest booked on or get a security deposit back. One thing that the property manager I work with uses is a platform called Happy Guest, where they actually have coverage for the guest in case anything gets broken. Obviously it comes with a fee, but that might be something that you want to look into as well. Then you're going to want to communicate to the guest, again, a message that's clear but enforceable. Hey, I noticed this specific damage after your stay. I'll be filing a claim to repair the costs. Let me know if you have any questions. This can typically go a long way. If that guest decides to dispute the claim with Airbnb or the other platform, you can escalate that claim with your evidence. You want to make sure that you reach out to platforms like Airbnb's support team for hosts or whatever platform you're using to resolve the issue. Now, I'll tell you, these platform teams are not always the best, and they're not usually in favor of the host. So the more evidence you have of the item not being broken before and then it being broken after, if you can document with a timestamp, that can usually really help as well. So you want to do everything you possibly can to make sure that you're documenting your case, and you want to make sure that the review that you're getting from that guest is not retaliatory. So you want to show that that piece of furniture or whatever it is was broken, and if they retaliate in the review, you can actually go back to Airbnb and say, hey, this review is retaliatory, and sometimes they will remove that. So keep that in mind as well. Let's talk about managing miscommunication. Another situation that can feel really awkward is when miscommunication happens and you have to navigate it. It can cause a lot of tension, but there's often easy fixes where clear communication that's empathetic can go a long way. Make sure to stay calm if you can in this situation. If a guest complains about something, first listen and then apologize. And you even apologize if it's not your fault. So there are many times that something may not be your fault. Saying something like, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, let me fix this for you, can diffuse the tension quickly. Generally, people, especially on Airbnb, are part of the community and are not trying to complain, but there are always those people who do complain. So the quicker you can fix it, typically the better, and offering a solution. You could always offer to either get the missing item or refund a small amount of the stay, or maybe an upgrade or something of that sort to show that you're putting in effort to try to resolve this for them. Quick story for you. One time I actually took out the Nespresso machine that was in the photos from my Airbnb listing, and then the guests complained about it. They said that was one thing they were really looking forward to. You know, I apologized for that and I didn't really know what to do, but I asked them what kind of coffee they liked, and I think they said like macchiatos or something. So in the morning, I actually sent like an Uber Eats delivery of 2 macchiatos to the guests who were staying as an apology for not having the Nespresso machine there. That did make them happy. Obviously, it's not going to go as far as having the coffee machine, and I'm sure they weren't completely resolved, but something like that shows that you're putting in the effort to make up where something might have went wrong, even if it's not your fault. In this case, it was my fault, but making that effort can go a long way to really show the guest that you're trying and you want to do the right thing. Okay, last, let's talk about protecting your reputation. Even with the best preparation and stellar communication, some guests are still going to leave negative reviews. It's just part of being an STR host. Here's how to handle it. Always respond professionally, even if the reviews are bad. A response like, thank you for your feedback, guest name. I'm sorry your experience didn't meet your expectations. We'll use your input to improve our future stays, can really show that you care while also protecting your reputation. A little hint on this, one thing that I use to respond to reviews, especially if I'm not feeling so great about it and having a hard time being professional, is going into ChatGPT and asking it to help me make the response professional but also friendly and show that I care. Don't be tempted to lower yourself or respond in a petty way. That's only going to hurt you. And at the end of the day, when you encourage people who did have a great experience to leave a positive review, those positive reviews that you accumulate are going to outweigh the occasional negative one. So aim for the positive, and if you do get a negative one, respond in a professional way, be empathetic, and try to resolve that. But just know, getting into short-term rentals, you're always going to have a negative review. So just be aware of that and be as proactive as you can in your communication. I won't sugarcoat it. Difficulties are going to happen as a short-term rental host, whether you pair endlessly, whether you have clear communication, or the professional attitude. But you have to have all 3 of those, and you can handle any situation with ease. Trust me, you've got this. Have you you had a challenging guest experience? I'd be curious to know. Leave a comment below with your most challenging guest experience and how you handled it. At the end of the day, being a short-term rental host can be really rewarding, but it's also very difficult. It comes with its ups and downs. Things are going to happen. You're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and figure out how to fix those. But hopefully it's worth it because you're providing a great experience to a majority of people. And even those people who don't have their expectations met, hopefully you're still accommodating them and providing an even better experience than what they thought they might have, even though something's missing or not there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear about your experience as a short-term rental host. Thanks for tuning in, and if you want more videos about real estate and short-term rentals, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel, and we'll see you next time.